On the far edge of Willow Creek, a quiet little town tucked between rolling fields and maple-lined roads, stood a pale blue house that most people passed without a second glance. The house looked ordinary, plain even, but behind it stretched a garden unlike any other in the neighborhood. A place where colors shifted with the seasons, where blooms rose and faded like soft sighs, where memories lingered longer than people ever did. That garden belonged to Samuel Grant, a 54-year-old man who had learned, over time, how to live with silence. Samuel had been alone for nearly a decade. His daughter had moved to the West Coast for work. His marriage had ended long before that, in a quiet, tired way. Two people drifting apart until the distance between them became a country neither one tried to cross. Samuel never complained. He simply folded the loneliness, tucked it into a place no one could see, and let the garden fill the space others had once occupied. Every day at dusk, he walked through the back door with the same old watering can, the metal dented from years of use. The late autumn sun descended low behind the treetops, shimmering like honey light, pooled across the garden, soft and warm. Dew still clung to petals, catching the glow like crystal beads. This was Samuel's favorite moment, the hour when the world softened, when shadows stretched and the air cooled, when even the birds quieted as if honoring the day's last breath. Some people called it the hour of old souls. Samuel simply called it the hour of truth, because in this hour, nothing could hide, not the tiredness in his bones, not the weight in his chest, not the ache that arrived quietly in middle age when one realizes that more years lie behind than ahead. He bent down to trim wilted blossoms from the chrysanthemum bed. The scissors clicked rhythmically, snip, 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 each sound strangely comforting. With every cut, he felt like he was releasing something else, an unspoken worry, an old disappointment, a memory that still stung. Loneliness had not crashed into his life like a storm. No, it had settled slowly, the way fog gathers on a cold morning. First thin, then thicker, first around his evenings, then his weekends, then everywhere. But it was a quiet kind of loneliness, not sharp or angry, more like a dull ache one grows used to. Tonight, though, something felt different. As Samuel stood near the rose trellis, flowers his ex-wife once loved, he caught sight of a figure standing just outside the garden fence. A woman. She wasn't close enough for him to see her face clearly, but he noticed the way she held her arms close to herself, as if steadying her breath. She hesitated before calling out, her voice soft, a little uncertain. "Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry to bother you." Samuel straightened slowly, wiping soil from his hands. "No bother at all," he said. "Anything I can help with?" The woman stepped closer, the fading light revealing lines of exhaustion on her face. Exhaustion not from age, but from grief. "I'm new to the neighborhood," she said. "Just moved into the cottage across the street." She paused. "My husband passed away 3 months ago. I'm still figuring things out." Her voice trembled on the last few words. She tried to smile, but it faltered. Samuel felt something shift inside him. Not sympathy, but recognition. The way one lonely person instinctively understands another. Not through words, but through silence. "I'm sorry for your loss," Samuel said gently. "Truly." She nodded once, as if grateful for the simplicity of his words. "I've walked past your garden twice now," she said. "It's beautiful, peaceful. I haven't been able to sleep well lately. I just needed somewhere quiet to look at for a while." Samuel glanced around his garden, suddenly seeing it the way she might. a place where colors softened pain, where stillness offered company, where life continued growing even after heartbreak. "You're welcome to look as long as you want," he said. "Gardens don't mind visitors." Her shoulders eased. "I'm Margaret," she said finally. "Margaret Ellis, 50 years old and feeling 100 lately." Samuel smiled faintly. "Samuel Grant, 54. I know that feeling." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The sun slipped further behind the trees, the garden turning a deeper shade of gold. Somewhere in the distance, a wind chime tinkled. Margaret drew a long breath, as if the quiet air helped her stand straighter. "My husband used to keep a garden," she said softly. "Not as lovely as this, but he tried. After he died, I couldn't bear to look at it. Everything felt wrong." Samuel understood. Grief steals the color from the world gardens included. "You don't have to rush anything," he said. "A garden waits. Life waits." Margaret's eyes glistened, though she blinked the tears away quickly. "Thank you," she whispered. "I'm not used to talking to strangers, but tonight, this place feels safe." Samuel nodded. "Some nights are heavier than others." The woman looked at him then, really looked at him, and for a moment he felt seen in a way he had not felt in years, not as a neighbor or a polite man with a watering can, but as a soul quietly carrying his own weight. "I'll let you get back to your flowers," she said eventually. "But may I stop by sometimes, just to walk? I promise I won't disturb you." "You're welcome anytime, Margaret." She smiled for the first time. Small, fragile, but real. "Good night, Samuel." "Good night." She walked away slowly, her figure fading behind the maple trees. Samuel remained in the garden long after she left, feeling the echo of their brief exchange lingering in the air. It wasn't romance, not hope, not even desire. It was something quieter, a soft reminder that even in late autumn, of gardens and of life, something new could still bloom, not to stay, not to last, but to remind a lonely heart that it was still capable of opening. And sometimes that was enough. Samuel lifted his watering can again, but for the first time in years, the garden didn't feel like the only thing keeping him company.